From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, September 14th. It's going to be a beautiful day, the best weather day of the week today. Lots of sunshine, humidity values are going to be low. This will lead into a nice afternoon with highs topping out in the upper 70s to low 80s after a really foggy start to the day. Several schools were delayed this morning in the Fort Wayne area. But yes, today is going to shape up very nicely. The ex-boyfriend of missing baby Amaya Robertson's mother is now in custody. Police say Robert Lyons turned himself into police yesterday. He's being held at the adult detention center. Police arrested Amber Robertson over the weekend. She and Lyons face several felony neglect charges in connection to Amaya's disappearance. Police say Amaya was 8 months old when she disappeared more than 3 years ago. Investigators still haven't found her body. Prosecutor Ryan Mears says more charges could come if her body is ever found. And the community gets credit this morning for helping find an Indianapolis woman police say took her 4 children without having custody of them. IMPD says officers found Brittany Stewart just after 7:30 last night. Police initially issued an abduction alert on Monday saying Stewart disappeared with her kids last week. IMPD said DCS had a court order to take custody of the children. Police haven't released any information about how Stewart took her children or where they were found. To the search for a double murder suspect in Plainfield, police want to find the man they say shot and killed 2 people at a hotel. A warrant is out this morning for Delani Rogers. He's accused of shooting 4 people Saturday night at the White House Suites off US 40. A 34-year-old man named Jose Rolando Castaneda Varela and a 52-year-old Alfredo Garcia died. The other 2 victims went to a hospital. Police haven't said how badly they are wounded. Anyone who might know where Rogers is should call police. The number is 317-754-5200 to get a hold of Plainfield Police. Police in Fishers hope new DNA testing technology will help them solve crimes at a much quicker pace. The department says new equipment from Thermo Fisher Scientific allows officers to test for DNA in just 90 minutes. Police Chief Ed Gebhardt says this is the next progressive step in the crime-solving process. He says DNA testing gets resources to the scene and paints a better picture of crimes for investigators. Fishers PD says the new equipment will also benefit other police departments across the state. And today, a restaurant in Richmond hosts a fundraiser for Officer Sierra Burton. She's the officer gravely wounded in a shooting. Burton is in hospice care. The police chief has said she will not recover from her injuries. In a new update, the police department says her condition hasn't changed. Texas Roadhouse says 100% of its profits from tonight's sales will go toward Burton's family. The fundraiser runs from 4 to 9:30. Early voting starts in less than a month. From October 12th through November 7th, you can cast your ballot at the City-County building. At first, it's weekdays only from 8 to 5. Then starting October 29th, hours extend until 6 in the evening, and weekend hours start from 11 to 6. November 7th, the day before Election Day, hours are 8 to noon. Voting centers in the other county townships open October 29th. We've made it easy for you to find out where those centers are and the hours for each. Just go to wishtv.com and you can find the story in the As Seen on Wish TV section of our homepage. And one of the longest-serving leaders in Central Indiana will not run again. Carmel Mayor Jim Brainard says he will not seek re-election. He first won the job in 1996 and has since led a massive reshaping of the city's strategies on development, design, and traffic, most notably Carmel's signature traffic circles. Brainard's term ends in December of next year. He says he plans to seek opportunities in the private sector. Wish TV is Indiana's education station. Equity and excellence is the vision of Indianapolis Public Schools as it proposes major changes to schools and programs all across the district. IPS Superintendent Dr. Alicia Johnson delivered the State of the District address last night. She unveiled a 5-year Rebuilding Stronger plan that closes 4 schools and merges 3 others next school year. Most K-6 and K-8 schools would be turned into K-5 schools and 6-8 middle schools. The plan divides the district into 4 zones based on race and income. Leaders say data shows students improve their skills with this model. The district says that staff affected by the consolidations will be offered financial compensation and signing bonuses. Leaders plan on taking more feedback before finalizing the plan. Some of the higher prices you're paying at the grocery store are permanent. That's according to local analysis of the newest inflation report. News 8 took the new numbers to economists at Purdue and Ball State. We told you about the report released on Daybreak yesterday. I talked about it in the podcast yesterday. The newest inflation numbers year to year, that number is 8.3%. Food prices in August climbed 0.8%. Ball State's Michael Hicks says prices for things like meat and gasoline might go back down, but about half of the overall inflation is likely here to stay. He says he thinks that overall consumers should expect this is going to be a 5 to 10% overall increase in the cost of living going forward. Ball State's Michael Hicks also says inflation will lower if the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates. He says recent rebate checks will likely cause additional inflation here in Indiana. President Biden says the country, in his words, will be fine despite still surging prices. He made the comments at the White House yesterday while highlighting last month's passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. The law passed with only Democratic votes in Congress. It includes the largest federal investment in history to fight climate change. It also caps Medicare prescription drug costs. Analysts suggest the law will do little to immediately bring down overall inflation. Today, Queen Elizabeth II's body leaves Buckingham Palace for the final time. Her coffin will travel in a silent procession to Westminster Hall, where she'll lie in state until her funeral on Monday. The procession is scheduled to start just before 9:30 this morning, our time. And the U.S. House of Representatives held a moment of silence for the Queen yesterday. Lawmakers also agreed to a resolution memorializing her and expressing condolences for her people. No one objected to adopting it. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is pushing for a nationwide abortion ban. The senator from South Carolina introduced the proposal yesterday. It's similar to Indiana's near total ban, with exceptions only in cases of rape, incest, or danger to the mother's physical health. The proposal drew criticism from Democrats and even some Republicans. The White House says it's wildly out of step with what the majority of Americans actually want. The proposal is unlikely to pass in the Democrat-held Congress. And the FDA will consider the first ever over-the-counter birth control pill. The agency scheduled a joint advisory meeting yesterday. Officials will review Perrigo's application for an over-the-counter access to its O-pill pill. It's already available with a prescription. The meeting is scheduled for November 18th. It's unclear if advisors will vote then. Ken Starr has died. The former federal judge became a household name in the 90s from his criminal investigation into Bill Clinton that resulted in the former president's impeachment. The probe into the Whitewater scandal uncovered Clinton's affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky. Starr later served as a member of former President Donald Trump's defense team during his second impeachment trial. According to a former colleague, Starr died from complications after a surgical procedure. He was 76. Monica Lewinsky tweeted following Starr's death, she wrote, "As I'm sure many can understand, my thoughts about Ken Starr bring up complicated feelings. But of more importance is that I imagine it's a painful loss for those who love him." Boston police say a Northeastern University staff member is in the hospital after a package exploded on campus. Police say someone delivered the package to the school's virtual reality center in a hard plastic container last night. According to police, it contained a note criticizing Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg and the relationship between schools and virtual reality. Police say the package detonated as the staff member opened it and suffered minor hand injuries. Police say they found a second package, but it was deemed not to be a threat. Boston police say they're not sure how the package arrived to the university. The former head of Twitter security tells lawmakers that leadership within the company is prioritizing profit over security. Peter Zatko appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee yesterday to lay out his allegations against the company. Among them, he said there was at least one agent from China's intelligence service on Twitter's payroll, and that the company knowingly allowed India to add agents to the company roster. He added that the company's security is more than a decade behind where it should be. Zatko said he raised concerns about security vulnerabilities to the company's executives, but executives failed to act. Twitter has pushed back on Zatko's allegations, accusing him of painting a false narrative of the company. He was fired from Twitter earlier this year. The testimony comes as Twitter's shareholders vote to hold Elon Musk to his deal to buy the company. Musk has been fighting to get out of the $44 billion takeover. The case between him and the company is set to go on trial October 17th. The threat of a nationwide rail strike has businesses and government officials bracing for the impacts to the economy. Unions representing more than 90,000 railroad workers want salary increases and back pay for hours worked since 2020. A strike could bring 40% of the nation's freight to a grinding halt if an agreement isn't reached by Friday's deadline. Rail companies have already stopped transporting hazardous material and refrigerated products in anticipation of a strike. A prolonged strike could lead to empty shelves in stores, temporary closures at factories, and higher prices. All right, to the Colts. The team will have a new kicker Sunday in Jacksonville. The Colts released Rodrigo Blankenship yesterday, one game into his third season in Indianapolis. He missed what would have been a game-winning overtime field goal in Houston. He also sent 2 kickoffs out of bounds. The Colts signed veteran Chase McLaughlin and rookie Lucas Haversick to compete for the job. And the team's Week 2 challenge is to break a losing streak. The Colts have lost 6 straight games in Jacksonville, most recently last year's season finale. The game kicks off Sunday at 1 o'clock, and there is still time to sign up for AC's Football Challenge. You can make your picks each week for a chance to win $600 in cash and prizes. You'll also have the opportunity to win a trip for 2 to Hawaii. Just head to wishtv.com and click on the Sports tab to sign up. And finally, to business headlines. Americans as a whole have experienced 2 years in a row of flat or declining household income. The Census Bureau says median household income of about $70,800 in 2021 wasn't different in a statistically significant way from the inflation-adjusted 2020 estimate of about $71,200. The stagnant income comes at a price as prices are rising on most things. Talking about rising prices, food costs spiked 11.4% over the past year, the largest annual increase since May of 1979. According to data released Tuesday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Americans browsing the supermarket aisle will notice most food items are far more expensive than they were a year ago. Egg prices soared 40%, while flour got 23% more expensive, milk 17%, and the price of bread jumped 16%. Meat and poultry prices also rose. Rents were also a big contributor to August inflation. Apartments.com says rent may be starting to ease, though, as they're seeing rent go down slightly. And as I mentioned on the podcast yesterday, Starbucks was planning on unveiling some changes for its cafes moving forward, and it did. So the plan is to spend $450 million on drive-thrus, mobile orders, and delivery. Starbucks will also set up special stations where baristas can make cold drinks much quicker. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.